Saturday, August 20th. I was going to do some bracket racing today, but I had some problems with my car, and I'll go over that here in a minute. You guys don't even want to know. So the last pass at Kentucky Dragway, it started missing real bad, and the car ran a tenth slower. I did let off right at the end, but I mean, it started running real bad when I got home. Austin moved it around the yard, and it did fine. I added that E85 in there, and it just started running like, and then crap. I had another 5 gallons of it, and the container wasn't sealed, so I thought water got in it. But anyway, I'll get into that in a minute. But Austin is putting valve springs on his.
Only got 2 left.
Yeah, and then we're going to do a cam. It's going to be the Sloppy Stage 2 cam. And Brandon was over here earlier. I try to get these guys to make videos, but they don't. I figured, you know, just put these cars on my channel. We all stay together and at the house and work on them anyway, usually. Brandon came over, and this one's completely buttoned up. It's good to go. It's running. It's just really fat. It's smoking, you know, fat fuel smoke coming out of it. So we just need to tune on that one a little bit. It's got Mega Squirt. I don't know how to do that Mega Squirt, so, but they're all pretty much the same. I think I'll figure it out. I just need to get it tuned enough for him to take it over to William Mead, Billy's. So on this one, I had a lot of problems with it. I made some videos on that, and I deleted them, but I'll just go over what happened. I feel really stupid. Apparently, before winter, it was on a flex fuel tune before, when it had the LT1 in it. And usually before winter, I put gasoline in it. Well, I didn't think I did that this winter. I did not think that I did that this winter. I can't for the life of me remember doing that this winter. But apparently I did. And I had the tune, I had some, I didn't have my flex fuel sensor hooked up. And I didn't know what the percentage was, but I put the stowage in the tune at 9.8, whatever, 9.86 or whatever. And he tuned it there. Well, every time I added 5 gallons of E85, it started running worse and worse. Well, and I didn't know what was going on. So the first thing I did was I drained the tank. I cleaned it out real good. One of the 5-gallon containers I had sat all winter, and it's not a sealed container. I'm told it'd get condensation in it if it sits like that. So I drained all that out of there, and I put fresh E85 in it. And that didn't fix it. I changed the fuel filter. That didn't fix it. I took the intake off, so I'm kind of glad I did. And I changed the intake gasket, because some of the intake gaskets were questionable. I changed the throttle body gasket. I cleaned the injectors. And the way that I clean the injectors is I just use them little alligator clip wire things you can get from Summit. And spray throttle body cleaner through them. Carburetor cleaner, whatever. I energize them and spray the cleaner through there. And yeah. So I'm glad I took the intake off, because apparently these vacuum caps, I screw clamped them on, but apparently if you screw clamp them on too hard, you bust them. So 2 of those were leaking, so I did have 2 vacuum leaks. One in the front and one in the back. I plugged the map sensor hole with just like a 1/4-inch MPT pop plug, and I put the map sensor up here. And I just ran it to this vacuum port down here. So I'm going to put a screw clamp on that right here in a minute. But the vacuum caps, if you tighten them down too tight, you break them. So I just barely tightened them down this time. But none of that fixed it. So I bought new spark plugs. That didn't fix it. So I got thinking, what's my E85 at? I bet that's what's happened. I bet I did put gasoline in it before winter. So long story short, I put a E85 sensor back in it. I need one of those in there anyway because this is not a flex fuel tune, and it's a speed density open loop, so it don't have the mass airflow and it don't have the oxygen sensors to adjust the fueling for me when the weather changes. So I have to do that. When the weather is really good and you got low DA, you have to add fuel. When the weather's bad and you got high DA, you got to take fuel out. But also, you got to change the stowage in your tune. If it's not a flex fuel operating system tune, then you also got to change the stowage based on the ethanol percentage. So, but anyway, I had the stowage set at 9.86 and we tuned it, and apparently it was really only about E50, E40. So when I kept adding fresh E85, it kept going up. So it's at E75 now. I put the stowage at like whatever E75 is. I got a mathematical calculation for that, and I'll show it right now. So this is the chart for E85 percentages and stowage, or ethanol percentages and stowage, whatever it may be. So, I mean, if you can tune your car and you want to put E85 in it and you have a flex fuel sensor, then you put E85 in it, or yeah, whatever, E85 from the gas station, whatever, and then the sensor says E60. So you just go into your tune and you go to fuel, general, and then stowage AFR. You just change that to, if it's E60, you'd put, 11.29. And that's it. That's really all you have to do. A flex fuel tune, all it does is it takes that number from the sensor and it changes the stowage value for you. But you can manually do it as well, which is what I'm going to do. But anyway, yeah, so I had to completely retune the flex fuel tables. Good thing that I have a wideband, because that makes it a lot easier. And I've got it running and revving. Before you give it the gas, it just flooded itself straight out. But I got it idling around 15 AFR. And when you rev it up, it goes to about 13.5. And then if you floor it, it goes to like 10. So I'm going to have to drive it to get the wide open throttle dialed in. So, unfortunately. And before that, I'm going to have to put insurance on it. And I'm going to get antique plates for this because it's old enough to have antique plates now. But, yeah. So, just got to fix the fueling tables. It's close. It's close now. But I put a flex fuel sensor in there. I just cut the nylon line, and I used a brake crimper tool, one of them little cheap ones, to hold the line, and so and I used a C-clamp to press that on there. Somebody's got a video on YouTube about that, but I put those on there, and these are the kind that have the little push button. You push that button, and it pulls right off. Those are so much easier to work with. I love them. Push the button, pull it off. And yeah, nothing's leaking, everything looks good. But the other camera accidentally shut off on me there. I don't even know where I was at. But anyway, I did a compression check, which I wanted to do anyway, because I gapped one of those rings over there too much. When I was gapping it, I went into daydream land. But that one actually had the most compression. All of them have 170 to 180 compression, which is good. I drained the tank. I changed the fuel filter. I changed the intake gasket, the throttle body gasket. There were 2 vacuum leaks at 2 of the caps. So I tightened the vacuum caps up too much. Them vacuum caps, if you tighten them up too much with a screw clamp, it breaks them. So this time I put new ones on. I barely tightened it up. I plugged the MAF hole with a 1/4 inch MPT pipe plug and sealed the threads real good with some thread sealer. Yeah, and the whole reason it did that was because I must have put gasoline in it before winter, and I added some E85, so it was really only around E50, E60, and then every time, and we dyno tuned it at E85 because that's what I thought it was at, because I was testing the jugs, the jugs of gas that I bought and put in it, not the one that sat, but they were, you know, E75 to E85 at the pump. But yeah, so yeah, that's what happened, but it's fixed now. Just gotta button some things up, and hopefully we'll get a nitrous pass on it. But that about made me pull my hair out. I spent $100 I shouldn't have had to spend on stupid stuff. But again, I did want to change the intake gasket, the throttle body gasket. I never should have used that intake gasket to begin with because it was pretty rough. But yeah, there we go, guys. Hopefully we'll get a nitrous pass maybe next weekend.